America TV, Freak Up Studio, live. 2022 GSL Season 3.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to the round of 6 here for the GSL. We are rapidly approaching the end of this tournament, and it has been a very special Season 3 so far.
It's been fantastic. We had some really great games the other night. Just in general, it's been a very strong season, and we're starting to see some patterns here, Tasteless, with who's advancing. Like Ragnarok and DRG, they just won't let up, man. Top 6 every season.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. It's not the Zergs that we were really thinking about, coming into this. A big shift in the landscape of the players who've been on top. We, of course, just had a Protoss winning last season, and it is a possibility we have a Protoss winning again this time around, which would be insane. It took 5 years for us to get a Protoss champion here for CodeS and GSL. And yeah, it's funny. Sometimes we have a year or two where it's kind of the same players bubbling up to the top over and over, and it gets a little bit repetitive. And then you have moments like this where it's been lots of upsets, big changes in the meta, a lot of interesting stuff.
Yeah. By the way, you can see our schedule for the rest of it down here, right? So we're going to have the semifinals on Thursday, and then the very next Saturday, not this Saturday, but next Saturday, we're going to have the finals at 5 p.m. KST, and that's actually going to be in this studio.
Yes, I think we mentioned it might be at the Sangam Coliseum, and we were wrong about that.
They've been doing that, but this time it's going to be here. And so when those tickets go on sale, if you really want to see this, you got to get them right away, because this does not have as big a capacity as the other studio.
They'll probably try to open this up to have as many seats as possible, but we really can't emphasize enough, get a ticket immediately, because otherwise you're going to have to be watching from somewhere else in Seoul.
Yeah. Or from your home, wherever you may live.
Or on your phone outside the studio, wherever that may be.
There's no windows, so you can't, climb anything and
That's
peer
right.
in. Well, I guess there is one window, isn't there? But it's, way down the hall. You're not going to see much.
You won't see it much from there.
And it's, up on the second floor,
we'll have
so
people up inside the vents trying to get it and everything. So, yeah, we do hope if you've come down here, I know we have a lot of people flying in as we're getting closer and closer to the end of the show. So just be aware of that. There will be more information coming on when and where to buy tickets.
And, here's a little overview of what we had in that round of 10. And we have the 1 Protoss, 2 Zergs, and then the rest Terrans here. 3 Terran.
And again, it's kind of surprising to see the Zergs that are with us here.
Well, Rogue's gone.
Yeah.
Right? And then that just leaves Dark from, the old guard of Zergs, I guess. Well, then the really old guard of Zergs is back with DRG, so.
Yeah. And, of course, GuMiho playing in a very unique way. That's been very exciting to see. Cure appears to be maybe at his strongest iteration yet. And, of course, herO, I feel like he is still the safest bet to take the whole thing. If not him, then maybe MaRo. MaRo's kind of always a safe bet as somebody who's going to get to the finals and probably win. But I do think out of all the seasons of GSL we've had over the last maybe 3 or 4 years, this is a tougher one to call. I think you've got pretty good arguments for pretty much any of the remaining players. Maybe Ragnarok not as much. I feel like I'm also kind of discounting him very often. But
I feel like the least likely player to win right now is GuMiho, personally.
Is that right?
Yeah, and I love GuMiho. Everyone knows I love GuMiho. But yeah, I think he's the least likely. I think that TVT match is tough, and then he's got to beat someone else and then go through that round of 4 that's ridiculous. But anyways, first off, we are going to have herO going up against DRG. The winner of this will go directly to that round of 4. If herO wins, he'll play MaRo. If DRG wins, he'll play Ragnarok.
Yeah. And again, herO, the chosen one of all the Protoss players that we had, he's back from his military service. Protoss has had moments of greatness, certainly in the past, but oddly enough, this tournament, it just doesn't seem to make champions. We had, even when SOS was the 2-time world champion,
he never won a GSL.
He never won a GSL, which is kind of crazy to say. The format of the tournament is a little bit different, though, right? It is, one where you get to have a lot of prep and a lot of planning go into it, so you can really piece together some cool strategies. And this is the classic, all the way back to the early StarCraft 1 days format. to choose who's going to be the best out here. And it really does create a great story and a lot of drama.
It really does. Now, DRG versus herO. Like, herO has been just so phenomenal in Protoss vs. Zerg. DRG, I feel like, has quite quietly been just rock solid this year. You know, he's just looking very, very good, getting some great wins throughout the tournament. And this is going to be a best of 5 to decide it now. Who is going to go directly to that round of 4?
And we're running out of matches, man. We are almost to the end here.
Yeah.
herO versus DRG, starting on the map, inside and out. This best of 5 begins right now. Let's go.
Dragon Phoenix Gaming, herO.
What does this shirt say? Continue to grow. I like that.
That reminds me of Beyond's shirt.
Team NV, DRG.
Remember when Beyond won his championship, he had like this shirt that kind of looked like that. That it was like, I forget what it said.
I can't remember what
like,
it said.
Love me or leave me or something like that. It was like something that was trying to be poetic, maybe.
Yeah. DRG is going to not be blocked by that probe. Get his third base, well, his second base, where normally his third base would be coming in there. So, big picture here with the matchup. You know, herO, especially in the season 2, and I think we saw a few elements of this even in season 1, but he came in here with a very different approach. We've got some support here from Silicon Valley to herO from Mexico.
Wow.
Welcome with the flag, or is that a flag shirt?
Yeah, it looks like a flag shirt or like a flag poncho, perhaps?
It's maybe a flag robe, or
it's like one of those towels for when you get out of the pool.
Yeah.
All right, very, very standard openers here thus far. And, well, I guess I'm really waiting to see what herO wants to try to pull off here.
Yeah, this is actually what I was going to get to. I guess we're still showing some signs over here, but you know, herO approached this matchup very differently. A lot of Protoss kind of stayed back and waited for an attack or a push that you could really come out and slowly topple the Zerg with, and that was kind of the traditional approach to the matchup for the decade plus this game's been out. And then herO changed the way he did it. He expanded with the Zerg, and he just sort of attacked, and the moment he thought he wasn't going to win the fight, he'd run away. And it seems like the way it functions is he just sort of slows down the Zerg over time. You know, with Stalkers with Blink, they can get away pretty easily. And Zerg stuff is kind of weak. I mean, if you get enough shots on it, it does die out. And so between that and using Oracles, he would eventually just kind of drag the Zerg to the point where they weren't able to function.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are you laughing at me for? What?
Well, Zerg stuff is kind of weak. If you're going to have shots on it, it will die out. It reminded me because I was just like looking. So this is like a very aside thing and maybe not the best thing to bring up right now, but it's like you made me think of this.
Yeah.
So the StarCraft Remastered ladder has like a lot of hackers on it, and the #1 guy that's just drop hacked everyone up to #1 with over 3,000 MMR, his profile just talks about how imbalanced the StarCraft 2 Queen is.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh,
He's
that's
like
hilarious.
48 and 0, 3,000 MMR, and his profile just complains about the Queen.
It's so funny. He had to get his message out there.
Yeah, that's the only way to do it. Anyways, it is a Glaives opener here. He's adding 3 gates, so...
And I got something to say here, man. You know, all of his other builds looked like this, only he went Blink. So it seems like what he's trying to do is shift back into an older style. I would imagine that DRG might be expecting Stalkers with Blink when actually the Adepts may come out and kind of throw him off.
It could be. Could be. Additional gases going up here at the natural. Oh my god. Oh my god. He's actually going for a Baneling bust right now.
Okay, so this is going to be now or never here.
This is kind of crazy. He's going to be able to get that pylon, which is absolutely gigantic.
I think herO might just be dead.
Yeah, it does look that way right now.
Pylon's going to go down. A couple more Adepts are warped in over here.
Yeah, the Adepts are almost glaved, not quite. He needs to get that pylon back up at his wall, and if he can fill in the wall, if he could block it off, that would be gigantic. But with these Lings coming up, Banelings as well, I think the game is over.
Yeah, that was so fast.
That's too
this
much,
may
man.
end in under 5 minutes right now.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just one gateway that's powered right now. There's plenty more lings coming down, and I don't see any recourse here for herO. You know, we were talking about all the different things herO might be trying to do, but clearly it was going to be DRG taking the initiative and ultimately shutting down his opponent here. Kills the Baneling, but, you know, he's got 9 workers left, and soon there's going to be nothing else here to help him defend.
Yeah, obviously he's dead. I think he's just like letting it sink in right now. GG is called, and that is going to be that for game number 1. DRG pulling a fast one there. That's kind of an interesting win to start off with, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's funny, too, because, you know, talk about taking control of the game. I mean, one thing about herO is that he seems to be able to really navigate games all the way through.
Yeah.
And I think the fact that you just come in there and stop him before he starts is smart.
I gotta mention, he sent his Overlord in. This was really purposeful. If there is one thing that No Regret has taught me, it's you can't Baneling bust them like that if the Stalker is in the wall. Because it takes so little damage from Banelings, whereas Adepts take huge damage from Banelings.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So sending the Overlord in was probably a bait just to make sure that Stalker wasn't up in the wall.
That makes sense. We're already moving now into map number 2 here. Tropical Sacrifice, certainly more likely to be a longer game. That one was literally under 5 minutes. The opening of the show was longer than that game was. And let's see if DRG keeps it aggressive, or maybe he dials it back into a macro game. But right now he's up 1-0 versus herO in this best of 5.
I can do this all day. Believe me when you hear me say I can do this all day.
Dragon Phoenix Gaming, herO. Team NV, DRG.
All right. Well, same type of opening here, getting him to go to that third base location. Of course, in that previous game, he was going to go for a Glaives build, right, which could help to punish something like that.
Right.
So those link up very, very well. That doesn't mean he's going to do it this time, of course. See exactly what his strat is going to be.
Keep in mind, this is the only Protoss left in the tournament. DRG fan here. Thank you for the sign over there. Appreciate it. herO fan. Russ have ruled for too long. That's so funny.
That's a great
That's so
I love that he has a sword.
Yeah. Oh, I thought it was a torch, maybe. It wasn't a
Oh,
sword.
maybe
Yeah,
it wasn't. It could have been a torch. That's what's so great about the picture, is it leaves it up to your imagination.
Yeah. So, look, man, I mean, he attacked in very, oh, another herO fan here from Germany. Welcome. Get people from all over the place. Now, I don't think we're going to have DRG do that this time, but
No,
I mean,
no,
you
probably
know,
not. I mean, it would be hilarious if he did, though,
Yeah.
right? That would really throw herO off. And, you know, it's a best of 5. It's like that Baneling all-in would have been a little bit more impactful, of course, than best of 3. You'd be like, oh, damn. Like, there is
Yeah.
no margin for error. But, you know, herO's still got that wiggle room. That would be crazy if he tried that again. 6 slings. Hold on, let's see. Okay, drone.
And so the Twilight Council's coming down here now.
Oh.
Again, I'm watching for, is it going to be Blink or maybe Glaives or something like that.
I bet you it's Glaives. I bet you he wants to go Glaives. There's a Stalker on the way. Mostly drones being produced.
Yeah, we're about
like
to have
that.
that third hatchery get started over here.
I like that he actually sent the Adept out as well here. He's being a little bit more aggressive about getting information. You know, there's every single game we see Shade flies out, the Overlord sees the Shade fly out, the Adept runs backwards so you don't know if they finish, right? But
Right.
most of the time they don't finish. Like, normally they just like keep the Adept at home. But here, he's like, it's not exactly sacrificing, like the Adept may not die, but like he's pushing pretty hard trying to figure out what's going on.
And it's going to be a Dark Shrine tech here. Now, there are 16 more lings being made now.
Man.
So,
Yeah, DRG does have more workers than he had in the previous game. Also,
Yeah.
we don't see any sort of Baneling Nest or anything.
Right.
Look at that, the Stalker standing in the wall.
Lesson learned there. But if it does become time for him to move out, I guess it wouldn't really matter if he's going Dark Shrine, right?
Dark Shrine, not only does it have that like aggressive potential, but like if someone tries to all-in you, Dark Shrine is so good defensively.
Oh, he moved the Stalker back. Luckily, no Banelings over here, though. Oh!
Oh, a little wiggle got through there. He's gonna pop one. He didn't make any more lings in this. He's actually droning behind this now.
Yeah.
Dude, this is kind of crazy.
He's gonna break that
Oh my-
pylon open. This is actually kind of crazy.
Oh, imagine if he had made more lings.
Yeah, we'd already be in game 3 here.
Yeah, seriously.
Somehow that sentry flips over to the side now.
And he actually gets the Stalker as well. He's going to go ahead and run by, and this is going to allow him to see the Dark Shrine. Wow, that's pretty damn big, man.
I am actually stunned right now that this is going the way it's going here.
Protoss need a door, man.
This is so funny because clearly what's happened is DRG has done his research and just said, no, he's actually weak early on. Like he can, you know, what herO has been doing is cutting corners a little bit too much. And it seems like he knew the right number too because he got in there, won the fight. He probably could have kept making lings and won the game, but I think this is more of a calculated move here.
Yeah.
The question is now, you know, how ready is Zerg going to be for the DTs to come out?
Well,
I mean, he did scout it, so he should know, but maybe, you know, he's going to get Blink. He can do something different with it.
DT Blank is going to be very, very interesting here to see what he wants to do. Like, I think he's just going to maybe sit there and make a hell of a lot of DTs and then go try to do like a classic type move, right?
Sure.
Blink the DTs in and just like kill a Spore instantly, that type of move. But yeah, I like the change because I mean, as soon as those went in there and saw that, Spores went up all over the place.
Right. And so we have a couple more DTs warped in. Now, is the Zergling going to see this? Well, he's going to move out now. Blink is done. Shadow Stride.
Dude,
I actually forgot what it was called
it's
properly.
called Shadow Stride?
Yeah,
No,
apparently.
it's not, dude. It's called DT Blink. It's like so silly to like rename these things. Okay, Lings come in, and they should be able to force a cancel there, but look at this. He's going to blink on top of this, and that is going to die so very quickly. It's actually great blocking here. Only 2 DTs are connecting, but he's still going to get it. And that means that this hatchery is going to fall as well. What a good move from herO. And he actually didn't even have to cancel that Nexus. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, and now the DTs are going to blink away.
And none of them died.
That's insane.
And
Great
13
play.
drones died. Dude, you know when herO knew he was going to win this game? It's when those Lings broke in, killed most of his stuff,
Yeah.
and saw the Dark Shrine. He's like, oh, see, this is actually what I wanted.
Yeah, now you're going to lose to what I've got. No, that was crazy. I had actually, to be honest, sort of written herO off after I saw the Lings come in a second time. I'm like, all right, well, this is not the cast I was planning
Yeah,
for.
yeah.
He's going to go for Spire now.
And herO going for Stalker Shadow Stride.
Yeah. And, you know, one thing with the DTs is he's got enough. He can just kind of roam around. He can look for the 4th and jump on it and maybe kill it before it can even get canceled.
Yeah, it's a possibility for
Yeah,
sure. The
like-
4th just gets started. Like, if he gets over there, he can do it. The Spire, I think, is a good partial risk here for DRG. Obviously, he's in a bad spot. And I think that, you know, with the Spire, there becomes the possibility that maybe he can, you know, maybe it can turn into some sort of base trade. Maybe the Mutas can just get something done. He
you
did
see
see
it?
the Spire.
Yeah.
He did see the Spire.
Spots that. And he's going to use the Stalkers to come down here. He does have the DT still roaming. Never got an opportunity to really come in there and take that. He turns it into 3 Archons. I think it's a great move. Still 1 DT to maybe do something tactical with. And now he's going to try to come up in between the rocks here with the Stalkers right now. And we're seeing herO kind of go back into the style that really, you know, he made his name off of here.
Yeah. A couple Overseers do pop up, and now he blinks forward, going after these Ravagers.
And the injured Archon kind of moved down to the bottom, and it is taken out, but so many drones are being killed off over here.
Yeah, it looks like the Protoss army will end up falling, but I think it's done enough damage. He got rid of almost every Ravager, like only 1 Ravager remains, and he got rid of 21 drones. Now, DRG's army is way better. He may need to counterattack right now.
I think you're probably right.
But, like, I don't think herO's going to die, right? Like, he's got shield batteries. He has DT tech and he has Blink Stalkers. So it feels like he should be able to hold on whatever might happen. And in fact, he's going to stay on the offensive here.
Yeah, well, you know, it's like we said before, you know, he is able to kind of blink away, and as long as he's not losing Stalkers and he's killing off other stuff, he's going to be getting value here. But yeah, kind of an incredible moment there to see that many workers fall. And here it is, the fourth base kind of expanding with the Zerg, and kind of changing the way the race operates in that role.
Stalkers right now microing back. More and more Stalkers coming down. A few mutas are being made. So, I mean, these mutas must be to fly across the map and try to harass the probes a little bit, maybe force some Stalker Warpins at home to deal with them. Charge coming up in the meantime.
And more Warpins.
Yeah, these mineral lines are pretty empty. Like this, the mutas can be very annoying here.
Yeah, we're going to see if he's going to be able to come in and do that in a second. But without cannons there, or something to really kind of push away from that, yeah, it'll be tough for him. But the Stalkers can keep making pressure over here. Again, 4-base to 4-base is not good for the Zerg long term. The Zerg doesn't keep out expanding. And here it is once more. You just kind of take your fights, run away, continue to let that Stalker group grow and grow, and try to trade out as efficiently as you can.
Well, the muta's going across now. We're going to see if they can start to make a little bit of a difference here. herO Travager doing an okay job keeping everything back. And here we go. The mutas do start to hit. So finally some damage being dealt to herO now. Recall occurs, and the muta's just going to fly away from that. Another warp into that main base. But you know what? This takes all the pressure off DRG, at least for a little bit.
Yeah, it was never a lot of Stalkers, it's worth pointing out. But he's going to have an opportunity for a counterattack to come in here. He may need to blink right down onto the ground. The muta's coming once more. Oh my god, it gets right on top of that Immortal. That's actually pretty big.
Okay, yeah, he's eating through these Zealots very, very quickly as well. The Raptors dealing some very strong damage. Down goes some Biles.
Nice force fields there to trap some of that on the outside. And really good execution here from herO, killing off a lot of that.
Yeah.
It's important to note it's actually 67 workers for Protoss and 44 for Zerg, which is kind of a funny mixture. Also, a very impulsive move to warp these Ravagers down here that herO just immediately punishes.
There's the Biles.
That's it. Okay, great game. And I want to remind everybody that did start with the Lynx actually busting in. And what looked like
the Dark Shrine.
And scouting the Dark Shrine, and he still made that work.
Yeah, the blink was such the DT blink was such a smart move there from herO that really put him way far ahead.
Right.
And the thing is, if that hadn't worked, he's like nowhere in the game. You know, he has nothing going on for himself. So it was a bit of a risk, but I think it was a smart one. Definitely pays off. And now, after a couple pretty cheesy, aggressive games, they're tied up 1-1.
Yeah. Looking very good, though, for herO. I mean, the fact that he can absorb that type of damage and then navigate the game to a lead in his way, regardless. It came down to that attack with the Archons. He kind of knew when to bulldoze through, take the drone kills, and then run away. And then basically play that balancing act of doing damage and not losing too many Stalkers. We're going to go to Cosmic Sapphire for map number 3. Right now, herO and DRG are tied up 1-1.
I can do this all day. Believe me when you hear me say I can do this all day.
Dragon Phoenix Gaming. herO. Team NV. DRG.
It's a very different approach to the opener this game for herO. See, he's grabbing that gas first, which means, of course, no probe scout. Not going to deny any base or anything.
It's going to be interesting if we keep seeing him try to do pressure builds more and more. Clearly, he looks at the way the herO opens up. It says, you're actually cutting maybe a little bit too many corners here. And I'm going to punish that. You know, came from California.
Nice.
Welcome. Welcome. Some support for DRG there. Nerd chills.
Gambles. Well, you came to the right night here with herO playing.
That's right, yeah. So, I mean, let's see if herO tightens this up, if DRG does that a little bit more. I kind of thought in that game 1 that was a bit more of a one-off, and I guess I was wrong. He tried to go for it again here.
Everything looking pretty normal so far. I'm excited to see where herO's going to take this with his tech. 2 Twilight openers so far, but very different in their execution. DRG looking standard thus far.
herO coming in here with a pretty big range, by the way, of ideas. You know, a lot of it has come to the kind of Stalker Blink play, but he seems to be very comfortable also playing around the fact that everybody knows he's going to do that, like going for DT Blink right away before and then coming into Stalkers later on.
Yeah, well, he's so good with those Stalkers, and, you know, he had an edge in that game, so he was able to pretty easily continue with that pressure.
Sure.
Stargate, though, this game. So definitely a bit different, but, you know, the style that we really grew to love, like last season, for instance, did generally open with Oracle. So this could be like Oracle into Gateway Man.
And that was really his bread and butter last season. And, you know, we talked about this quite a bit, but for a while it seemed like Protoss had a very, very hard time actually killing Zergs, right? And there was a lot of soul searching and a lot of weird openers and styles of play that were experimented with to figure that out. And it seemed like some Terrans could beat Zergs if they either won with a push or then turtled intensely. But herO seemed to be the first guy that came out and was like, no, I pretty much got it sorted. And we were talking about if you're going to be a player who's going to win a GSL over the last couple of years, you better be able to beat Zerg, because you're going to have to face several very strong ones to get that far.
That was a big problem with SOS, actually, is he, not always, but a lot of times that was his weak matchup. And, you know, that definitely cost him in several GSL tournaments. Having to beat Zerg, definitely a prerequisite. So, Oracle coming across. Third Nexus going to be going down. Very standard stuff here on both sides.
Right.
And, well, let's see what he gets done. Now pushing back that Overlord a little bit. Sending the Oracle back so he can secure the kill on it. Of course, that's going to make it a little bit harder to get kills with the Oracle across the map.
And so far, this is the most passive standard game that we've had here from DRG, where he's, you know, just powering up. He doesn't want to really get in the Protoss' space that much early on here. 2 more gases as a third Nexus is coming along here, and Oracles are going to be pulled up.
Yeah, he's about to beat 3 Oracles. Let's see if he keeps going. You know, there was definitely some games that we saw where he was going like mass Oracle when there was like a lot of circlings involved. So it's kind of cool to see the 3, and he's saved a lot of energy on them. He's saved a lot of health on them as well. There really hasn't been that much diving as far as harassment goes.
And yeah, it does seem like of all the builds that, you know, people talked about that were worth copying, you know, from herO, this is sort of the build that we saw him where, you know, he really made his bones in the matchup in the modern era. So the 3 Stalkers are going to come out. He is going to dive down on 1 Queen, and there's no energy to heal it up. And it's just going to snipe whatever he can find. He will lose 1 Oracle. Ideally, you don't want to be dropping any of those, but he does get 5 drones, so
5 drones,
not the end of the world to lose that.
Popping a couple units in there as well. But yeah, keeping 2 alive, I think it's still totally fine. Lots of drones coming out, and it is a plus melee attack here from DRG. And I have liked this approach against the Blink Stalkers.
Oh, is he? Wait, he's all in?
Who?
Zerg. No, the Queen's running off creep. Never mind. He's going back.
Oh, did he? Yeah, I guess
he
he did
had
walk
3
up creep
Queens walking up creep, which usually means you're going to all in. But I guess he might have decided to do that and then pulled away.
Yeah, he was still droning reasonably much. He doesn't really have that much going on. Like, the layer's not done. +1 melee is not quite done yet either. But yeah, maybe he wants herO to like make some static D or something. Like he's trying to bait him into it.
You could fake with that with the Queen.
Okay, Blink coming up. Baneling Nest is going to be finishing as well. And I wonder exactly what we're going to see here. There's no Roach Warren, right? Like, does he throw down a Spire? Is he just going to go Ling Bane, like pure Ling Bane? I have, like, some of Ragnarok's moves where he goes for, like, a really big Ling Bane Roach attack.
Yeah.
But it's actually, a Hydralisk Den coming up.
Yeah, Ling Bane Hydra, not a bad idea.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of damage that's dealt very, very quickly. Obviously, the Banelings need to connect with their targets. and the Hydras have to then fill in for the rest of the damage the Banelings couldn't finish off. But in some ways, I think it's a better style of play maybe against this than trying to go Roach, Ling, Ravager, or something like that, where I think with better finesse, the Stalkers are just superior units.
Well, right now they are showing that, aren't they?
Yeah.
Picking off a Queen, running back, a lot more Stalkers being orbed in. There is +1 on these Lings, but not enough of them to do very much right now. He only has 20 Lings against 22 Stalkers. Obviously, that is not a winning battle. Now, the Queens standing their ground, trying to fight here, but obviously the Stalkers getting a much better deal. Oh, man, this is not going well.
Yeah, I think herO is close to taking this one here, too. He's one-shotting each of the Queens here. The Hydras are going to come up, but they're only as strong as the other units that can back them up. I mean, there's more Stalkers than there is everything else Zerg has. GG, herO takes game 3, and it's looking more and more clear that as long as the game can develop the way that herO wants it to, he will win this series.
I tell you, if he had taken it a little bit longer, then maybe DRG can hold that, because it felt like he caught DRG right before DRG started his unit production.
Yeah.
Really felt that way. Like we saw DRG do a couple when he was getting harassed. He did a couple big drone rounds, which is kind of a normal thing, right? Like if you lose some drones to like Stargate harassment, it's oftentimes the answer is just to like make a big round of drones and just be fine. But then herO followed it up immediately. I almost feel like he held the Oracles back purposefully, brought them in for harassment. It got some drone rounds made, and then he just instantly attacks. And DRG simply did not have enough at that time, even though I think he prepared a lot of things in the correct way.
Impressive stuff. Getting a little bit worried here for DRG.
Yeah.
Will he lean back into aggression? Let's find out as we go to map 4 on Moondance.
I can do this all day. Believe me when you hear me say I can do this all day. It's
Dragon Phoenix Gaming. herO. Team NV. DRG.
Okay, I feel like this series is unfolding pretty quickly here.
It is. It's a Fast and Furious series.
Yeah, action-packed. Honestly, I wouldn't blame DRG if he went for aggro again.
Yeah, why not?
It seems like herO has a very... it almost looks too easy what he's doing. You know what I mean? I mean, there's a lot to it, but he seems to very comfortably get where he needs to be, and then the damage starts coming. And,
yeah, you know what, actually, Tasteless? Like, this is something that we saw a lot of Terran players figure out, like here especially. All the way from Peru.
Peru,
My
welcome.
cannon rush by Tasteless. Simping
For
for ire.
Hell yeah.
Amazing.
Man, there's no direct flights from South America to Asia. You got to go through.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's a long trip.
There can't be none.
There's none.
To Asia, there's none?
Am I right? Some people are looking back. They're just waving high. I'm going to yes or no. I don't know. No, I believe
South America is a pretty damn big place to not have a direct flight to Asia.
No, I believe that there's almost no, and I think none.
I've decided that you're wrong.
Yeah.
I've never looked into it. It can't be. Like you have to be able to get from like Brazil to Japan or something. It has to be.
I think it's too far.
It's
I think the
pretty
farthest
far.
you get is Europe, something like Seoul or Tokyo to London or something like that.
I think the longest
15
flight in the
hours?
world is like either an Australian flight or a Singapore flight somewhere.
Australian
Thought I
flight
read that.
probably to
Anywhere.
anywhere, yeah.
Anywhere but New
A flight
Zealand.
from Sydney to Perth, yeah, that's it's the longest in the world.
Crazy. But look, actually, to what you were saying, Tasteless, about the aggression, something that I found really interesting was players like Parting, or here is a similar player too. These players that are really highly aggressive. Now, this is a different matchup I'm talking about, but the way that, like, for instance, one of the reasons why I think Parting didn't end up winning another GSL is because a few of the Terrans, like TY and Cure and stuff, started getting very aggressive against him.
Right.
Right? When he was killing everybody, they're like, no, 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 we're going to get aggressive now. And then suddenly it's like, oh, you're losing probes while I'm losing SCVs. And then things get out of hand pretty quickly. So, you know, it feels like that is kind of a good thing to do. Like, these aggressive Protosses want you to play your standard backer game. That's what they're good at dealing damage against. But once you start getting aggressive on them, they have a bit of a harder time.
By the way, a Void Ray is being made here.
Yeah.
The first, we've had 4 games, and this is the first time this unit's been made. Now, I mean, I think if herO wasn't playing, we would start to say that he just wants to, you know, comfortably get a 3rd base and then go into a macro game. But he's getting a 2nd Stargate now.
Wow.
Now, does he get another Void Ray? Because this is a very different way of playing the game.
I can't imagine he would go, like, actual Void Rays. Like, Void Rays on 1-2 base? No, it can't be.
Yeah, and you know, this is very interesting because, to be honest, I mean, from at least my perspective, after the way the last 2 games went, I don't see why you'd even try to play any differently, right? Like, just come in there and do what's already worked. But this is a big shift in the approach for a player who already is ahead, and seems like he's got a good handle on the matchup. But I can almost guarantee you that DRG, first of all, didn't expect that first Void Ray, is not going to be expecting the 2nd Stargate behind this either. Off of 2 base. Normally, when we see a 3rd base making, almost always.
Yeah, yeah. We did see some stuff like this from Creator the other day. Remember? Like,
right.
He was very, very peculiar. So double Stargate Phoenix, but okay, because he's going Twilight as well.
So could he go back into the Stalkers? I kind of thought we couldn't have Stalker play after 2 Stargate, but maybe you make 2 Stargates, get a couple of units out here, and then stop. And, I mean, this is a very strange build. This is really interesting to see how he's developing.
Stalker Phoenix doesn't make sense to me, Tasteless. It really, really, really doesn't. I could see Adept or Charge Law, right? Glaive or Charge I could see, but if he goes Blink with Phoenixes, what are you, Alpha Star? Like, what's going on here?
And it's going to be Glaives. You're right about that. But I will tell you, it's interesting when you see somebody ahead and they just need 1 more game, and then they do something very, very different. And let's also point out, I mean, he won game 2 and 3 so handily, you know.
Yeah.
5 gateways coming down here. So this is a very funny build with Phoenixes for 1.
Well,
and by the way, the attack would have happened a while ago. So I think the surprise is actually the Phoenixes. You're going to see the gateways and go, oh, okay. He needs to kill that before it gets too far in.
Yeah, he's still trying to hide.
Oh, that wasn't even close. Sorry, guys.
Okay, so you know what? He sees that. Like, he sees that, you know, there's a lot of gates and chrono boosted Twilight, so maybe he makes more roaches, and now the Phoenixes come out. The Phoenixes want you to make roaches, but the Adepts do not, right? So there's like, I think he's looking to maybe punish the roaches with these and have the Adepts kind of do everything else for him. Oh, that's hilarious.
So funny. They target the Overlord first. All right. Well, he is going to kill, you know, I guess way less than I thought he was going to kill because of that Overlord.
That Overlord wrecked.
Yeah.
Nidus on the way. Oh my.
Okay. Yeah. With the Nidus coming here, I have to say I'm totally fascinated with what the Protoss did, but I like what Zerg's doing a lot better.
Yeah, it seems like it's going to be a good plan.
God.
That's a lot
That's
of Adepts,
a lot,
man.
dude.
Look at that line of Adepts.
Oh, man, that is a lot.
It is.
If he could maybe get up into the main. Now, the Nidus is there. I mean, he sees it, but he really can't do anything with the Nidus right now.
Now, do the Phoenixes come over to help? That's a lot of roaches.
Where are the Phoenixes? Are they still in the top left?
Yeah, they are. They actually are. All right, he like starts to shade and then actually goes back and he recalls them. Is this
the worst strategy ever?
I am confused. I am confused. I'm not exactly sure what the aim is because, like, in a way, it's like, yeah, these want you to go roaches, the other ones don't, so they kind of complement each other in that way, but also it's not like an army that scales well at all. And well, I don't know. I don't know.
They both had such specific approaches to this. It's been like, I guess, really like a one-of-a-kind game. But Zerg's going to come in here and try to all-in this. Now, let's see if this is the right play by the Zerg, or if he's going to overextend after being into a good spot.
That is a lot of queens, a lot of transfusion energy. Not that many roaches right now. Tries to throw down another Knights. It's actually kind of in the way.
Yeah. Keep in mind the Cybernetics core is right in the front. If that's killed off, he can't make the tech units.
Counterattack from the Adepts while the Stalkers try to hold with the shield battery. The Phoenix is still putting in a lot of work right now. I think that the army of DRG is much, much better, though. Like, as these Ravagers finish, like Ravager Queen, you know, obviously there's counter damage being done, but I think DRG has what it takes to actually kill herO. Look at that.
What a strange game. 11 workers have been killed off here. The Phoenixes could keep doing some damage. I guess the bigger question is, can Protoss hold at the natural? If Protoss can't hold at the natural, they just can't do anything in this game right now.
Cybernetics core is gone, by the way.
Yeah, so that means he's making StarCraft 2 Zealots without charge.
Yeah, that's a little bit rough.
Name a worse unit in the game. I think we're going to go to game 3.
Yeah, well, game 5 even.
I'm sorry, game 5. Well, I'm like, or 6, you know? What do we call yeah, no, we're going to be going to the 5th game for sure here because herO has lost this. And I got to say, a very peculiar strategy here.
Yeah.
He's going to come in now with those Phoenixes. This is going to be his last moment. He is warping in more Stalkers, so that Cybernetics core has been remade.
Yeah, very strange play. There's no doubt. There's no doubt. It's
never
very
quite casted a game like this before in my life. And so I guess as the remaining Stalkers are killed off, we're going to see him tap out. GG. It's tied up 2-2. And in a game that was honestly, I don't know about you, Artosis, but pretty tough for me to cast. It was kind of hard to follow the thought process of herO there.
Yeah.
You know, it is great to surprise them and throw them off, but it didn't seem like it was the hardest thing in the world to deal with.
Yeah.
For DRG. Okay.
It wasn't optimized Adepts, and then it wasn't like a Phoenix harass and protect while you build your economy build, which is normally what those do. So you spend a ton of money on the Phoenixes, but they're really only harassing, right?
Yeah.
There's a limited amount of damage that they can do. I don't know.
They didn't have like
weird.
a function when the Adepts got there. They were literally just like sitting behind the Zerg's main.
In fact, there were times where the Adepts were going to attack something, and he just lifts up everything, and it's like, what?
Data C, man. Oh, what if DRG goes for a cheese out here? Let's not forget he didn't want to go Night and Swerve, right, in that last game.
That's true.
You know, we didn't talk about it much because
seems like a decent counter against that, right? Get your queens across the map because the queens are so good there.
Yeah, exactly. All right, guys, the final game here between herO and DRG starts now on Data C.
Dragon Phoenix Gaming, herO. Team NV, DRG.
I'll tell you, man, herO tried to play outside of the box. I mean, he always plays outside of the box, but that was outside of his box. And it did not work out at all. And I was a little bit surprised by it just because game 2 and 3 he dominated so easily by just kind of doing what he'd already done. And it just seemed like this is such a weird, fancy thing you're doing for such an important moment.
Yeah.
Like if DRG wins this, that's it.
Well, yeah, herO has to try to play whatever Terran comes up.
Exactly.
Either way, like if he wins now or he wins later, he has to play Maro. Like that's just the way that this works out for him, right?
And by the way, this is a faked cannon rush. So
DRG sure as hell thinks it's real.
So he wants the Zerg to overreact and pull workers, and then he cancels it.
That was a big overreact too.
Yeah.
A lot of lost mining time there, so I think that was pretty effective from herO.
And instead, this is a pretty ordinary expand play here. Now, the Cybernetics core is coming along, and I want to see, you know, is it going to be Twilight again? Is it going to be Stalkers of the Blink? Is it going to be something fancy and then later on Stalkers and Blink? Because that can happen too. He basically has, you know, this kind of core idea that works, and he has a lot of different ways he gets there. And then that last build we saw, which we have a hard time explaining.
Yeah. It does seem like his successful games are all eventually Blink Stalkers being microed heavily for a while.
Yeah.
So here comes the Stargate. I would say that this is very likely Oracle, very unlikely for that Void Ray once again.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, it's going to be a quiet start here. Got some Ling speed coming down here, but we don't have any signs of a big plume of Lings coming up.
No.
But that could come a little bit later on. We don't want to count it out entirely here. The third hatchery is going to be started over here near 12 o'clock.
I wonder if he'll do something like those aggressive Ling plays once again. They seemed to work for him well before. Of course, the Oracle can really mess that up too. DRG seems to just be playing very straightforward opener here. Oracle is on the way. More depths. Probably see him take a third very shortly here.
Yeah, I think that's quite likely here. And yeah, I mean, it seems like both sides have decided to just kind of play the standard approach that they've got here. You know, no all-ins yet here for Zerg. There are a couple more moments where that we could see that sprout up if he does kind of make a fork in his decisions here. I'd say a questionable play to send these Adepts in here, and this really did quite poorly. You know, not getting anything of significance at all.
Yeah, that really didn't do well. That was a
little bit
great
surprising.
deflection. Yeah,
Yeah, a little bit surprising to see that there. He did see that there's no spore or anything yet, but he can't really get any workers. So even some extra damage on that Oracle. Again, this isn't the biggest deal in the world, but it's sometimes you lose a couple of these little fights, and it does add up over time.
I think we'll see a Twilight now. It feels similar to the other game we saw where he held the Oracles for a bit, but like he is trying to get a little bit of damage. Gets a couple drones there. Not going to really get too much more here. Brings them in from the two different sides. Very clever move there. I like that.
Yeah, I like that tactic.
Couple of depths just to hold those Lings back.
Yeah, it seems like herO is just doing what he has done so many times before. You know, when we really saw him show this great style of play, it was like Oracle's coming out of, you know, one Stargate, steadily expanding, and then you just go up into that Twilight Council and just start to get the blink and start to try to control the game. And then I guess the bigger feature later on, you know, is that you're never committed to it one place. You're just looking for a fight. You do what damage you can. You run away, and you get a fourth base and wall that with gateways.
More Oracles on the way. Forge as well as Twilight. +1 melee here for DRG.
And Zerg is making more workers right now, trying to kind of get back on his feet after the couple jabs that have come in here from herO.
Well, he'd be able to drone up pretty quickly here and get his economy where he wants. So there's the +1. What's the Twilight doing? I would imagine it's going to be Blink. We'll see in just a moment here. Charge!
Okay.
You don't say.
I didn't think it was coming.
I didn't think this
I
would
thought
be charge.
so. He's going to go for a different play here. I guess he's a little bit afraid that DRG will have made the right adjustments, so he wants to instead go for another tech option in there.
Well, he's certainly being very unpredictable.
Yeah.
And charge can be fantastic. He's going to have a big economy. He has a good amount of Oracles mixed in here as well, which I don't feel like they complement the Zealots quite as well as Stalkers, but that's okay. They're still going to be very useful.
One thing about this type of attack that herO's planning is it happens very quickly. This is an attack, if it works, the game ends pretty fast. It's not one where there's sort of a back and a forth and anything like that.
Now, he does have that gateway wall at his third base. We don't see a fourth yet for DRG.
Kind of funny to see him try to moving shot on that hatchery. So the Warp Prism's going to come, and basically it's going to be a huge chunked out amount of Zealots coming out over and over and over and trying to overwhelm. And there's a Templar Archives finishing behind that, so maybe Archon's coming to the mix as well.
Like, is he just going to fly in and warp in a bunch of Zealots in the main or something? Brings 5 Oracles together here. Not really.
I mean, I'm sorry, where is the Oracle? Or, not Oracle. There it is. I meant Warp Prism on the map.
Has Zealots in it. Going after this fourth base. Might be able to get the cancel there.
Yeah, beautifully done. Small counterattack comes in. Now, again, the gateway placement, it looks like it'd just be another one of these builds with the Stalkers. The Lings are going to come down here, and this is going to be kind of tough, man, because Protoss has to make a decision about where he wants to warp stuff in, and he's going to see the Zealots.
And look at that, great targeting there from DRG. Takes down that shield battery, but then decides to back out. 5 Oracles still alive.
I'm sorry, where's that warp prism now? Oh, it's in the main. Okay, he needs to warp it again and do it fast.
Yeah.
And do it fast.
There you go. And Skates do get off that cooldown. And here come the Oracles now.
Yep. And this is a lot of damage. Meanwhile, the Zealot's going to attack down here at the bottom. The Spore is shimmied forward to try to hit. Over here, he's going to pick up whatever remains here of those Zealots and run back down. Now, he does deny the 4th base.
Yeah, another force cancel, so he's keeping him down on those 3 bases. But overall, quality-wise, herO's army is not really growing that well.
Yeah.
He is going into Disruptors now.
And Archons here.
Yeah, okay,
well.
so that's where he's going to start gaining a little bit more value from his army, but like just having, you know, Oracles and Charge Lots, they don't scale the best, you know?
Yeah, you know, it's a very different style that he's trying to win with. It doesn't seem to have the elasticity as the same kind of elasticity as the armies that he's used to with the Stalkers, but this is more of a traditional approach where you try to kind of strong-arm them in the fights. But I'll tell you what, the fact that this 4th base keeps getting reset, I don't think herO's going to have a hard time closing this out.
I think you're right. This looks like a very scary army. The Oracles turn on finally here, drops out the Disruptor, goes after some Queens with it. That is a huge amount of damage. The Mutas that just popped out come over and try to fight. Well, if he gets rid of the Archons, then obviously the Mutas can do well. And he gets rid of 1. He kind of is Magic Box on the other, so he will kill this off, but this is a lot of damage just still here in general.
Yeah, and the problem is Zerg just isn't going to be economically functional if it doesn't have that extra base. I don't know what these Disruptors are doing in the main here. It seems like a bad...
They're scouting, I guess.
Yeah.
So he'll clear this.
This is funny.
Well, definitely worth.
I mean, the truth is, even though the attack was held, it's really all about this base that keeps getting remade over
it's
and
like
over
4 times. It's
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, and that is like a kind of straightforward way to lose the game here. Nice shot.
Yeah, we'll end up losing that. There are Phoenixes being made. He added a 2nd Stargate.
And he started Blink. So he's done the damage he probably needed to do, keeping Zerg off of a 4th base, or at least not mining a 4th base. We see it like finish and then it dies. And again, I think it's going to be a pretty easy closer here for herO.
The one thing that I see that's decent for DRG, because I agree with you, it seems like herO should be able to take this pretty easily. He's got more workers, he's got decent army supply. The only thing that's a little bit funny looking here is the actual army that's being made by herO doesn't really fit together, right? It's like he's making 2 Stargate Phoenix, Blink Stalkers and Disruptors, and like his Oracles are almost all dead now, but it's just the army itself is not like the greatest attacking army. It's kind of like he's countered everything, so he's not going to die, but also if DRG plays this really well, maybe he can be okay because the army's not that big.
I think if he just gets into the Stalker play here, he might just have enough. Like Zerg just started mining from this 4th base.
Yeah.
Like he might. I mean, it might be less about unit composition and more like whatever it is, he just has more of it. But I gotta say, this game is much closer so far than I thought it was going to be. Well,
he gets the Disruptor. That's a really, really big deal. The Corruptor is holding back those Phoenixes. The thing is, a lot of this supply is in the Mutas. And with Phoenix Archon, that's like very hard to engage. Like he needs the Mutas to actually help fight the actual army a bit. And I don't think that's going to be that doable here. Oh God, Disruption Ball comes up, gets a big juicy hit there.
I don't know if DRG can hang on through this, man. This is a lot to try to fight off. And herO's being pretty patient too, of kind of moving back and waiting for some abilities to reset. And then coming in once more, and he blinks in right there. That may be the killing blow.
Yeah, lifting up quite a bit here as well. Not a lot of options left here for DRG. A little blink forward there. DRG trying to fight, but the Zealot's just dealing so much damage on top of everything. The Archon's moving forward now. And it looks like DRG is going to go to that final match, whereas herO going up to the round of 4.
GG, man. Nicely done. herO does take that. That was a hell of a series.
Yeah, it was wild, man. Like, it started off so aggressive. A lot of very different kind of weird strategies coming out as well.
Oh, yeah. I had fun with that, though. herO comes out. herO playing, frankly, a much wider range of styles than I kind of thought he was going to do or needed to do. But he makes it work.
Yeah.
Another step closer to another GSL Codes championship.
Well, it's going to be a tough one because he has to play Maru in the round of 4, right?
Yeah.
That's the toughest match that you can really get. DRG, he's not out yet. He's still going to have another shot to get up into that round of 4 as well.
So we're going to be going to an interview now with herO. Again, he's just one step closer to taking this tournament for the second time this year. He is, of course, our Season 2 Codes champion.
Wow, what a neck and neck match that was. But in the end, it is herO defeating DRG. And he moves on to the round of 4. Congratulations. Thank you. So as the last Protoss standing, herO, the final Protoss player, you have managed to move on to the round of 4. How do you feel? Well, first of all, I mean, I made good preparation, I think, and my PvZ has been going really well these days, so I was pretty confident going to the series. But I think DRG actually made a better preparation than me. So as I was playing, you know, I thought I was screwed up. I think I screwed the match. But then I try to kind of like suit my playstyle. I try to like adapt my playstyle into DRG's, and then things started working well for me in the later games. Okay, so adapting and improvising according to DRG's playstyle, herO. So herO, I heard that you concentrated entirely on the PvZ match. And that shows your resolution not to go to the final match, herO. Is that so? When in practice, as I was preparing the builds, I was scrimming with ragnarok. He was helping me so much. He was so eager to help me, and I was thinking of all these various builds. And then, you know, I was not trying to get the best of both worlds. I was only focusing on PvZ, and then I'm really happy that I did. I mean, there were so many units you utilized today: the Phoenix, the Oracle, the DTs, and every game had every different builds. And it seemed like you had a hard time against DRG today in general. I mean, like I said before, if I play to standard, it's really hard for the Protoss player to win. So I really try my best to play unorthodox and kind of like twist my playstyle. So in the round of 4, I'm going to try to prepare better and then try to show better builds. Well, here that means that you're going to continue to try your best in every match. And in the round of 4, you will be going up against last season's runner-up Maru. And it's really pressuring, it's really nervous to meet him, to face him in the finals, but you're going to be going up against him in the semifinals. So how do you feel about that? So he's definitely a very intimidating opponent to play against in the round of 4. So, you know, playing against him in the finals, best of 7, it's better to play against him, you know, best of 5. In the round of 4. So I think it's really going to be fun to play against Ragnarok in the finals as well. So I hope he moves on to the finals. So you're saying that playing against Maru in a best of 5 is better than playing against him in a best of 7. Okay. So ahead of your match against Maru, you know, I'm really looking forward to the builds that you're going to be showing on stage. So there are so many fans here at the venue who are rooting for you. So any words to them? Well, first of all, I'm always grateful to the fans for rooting for me. And here there are so many fans here today. And despite the bad weather, I'm really happy that they're here to cheer for me. I'll try to deliver better performance in the future. And it's my wedding anniversary, 1-year wedding anniversary. Is it today, herO? Yes, it is. 3rd of October. Congratulations, herO. Wedding anniversary. Then herO, any message to your wife who's here right now? You know, first of all, I don't know if I should say fortunate or unfortunate, but you know I got a match today, and then you know my wife said she wanted a GSL win as a wedding anniversary present. So I really clenched my teeth today. I really bit the bullet. I tried really hard today to give her the present she wants. So I love you. I love you. And that was herO having its 1-year winning anniversary today. And once again, congratulations on your round of 4 advancement. Thank you.
Thank you, Andy. Excellent work as always. Well, that's one of our best of 5s, but there's 2 more to go here in the round of 6.
That's right. Congrats to herO, by the way. Well, you're married.
Yeah, hell yeah. Guys, up next, TVT, GuMiho versus Cure. We will be right back.